All right, what's up, guys? We are back with another podcast episode. This week, we're going to be covering just some small little stories throughout the week, some personal stories that were pretty amusing, as well as the PPA Atlanta. And then make sure you stay tuned to the end because we just have some stuff we want to talk about with some thermoformed paddles.
Oh,
all right, Will.
Juicy.
Yes, always juicy. You want to kick us off with the video you released this week?
Oh, yes. So the long-awaited video of the move that I talk about, the Batman, has just been released on my channel. I finally put it together. Honestly, it didn't take me that long to do. It's just, at least for me, kind of hard to find people who are down to just, record and film with me and not just want to play games all the time. And I feel bad going to a public court because we don't have that many and taking up court space for me to film video. But it's out, so if you want to go watch it, it's out on my YouTube channel. And please let me know in the comments if you guys think it's as cool as I think it looks, or if it's just stupid. I'm half and half about it. I think it's stupid most of the times because I rarely get, but when I do, I definitely yell, "I'm Batman," and then I just run away from the court like an idiot.
Dude, but you got that guy at the US Open so good with it.
I did. Yeah, people were like, "Hey, there's no way this thing works at high level," and I'm like, well, I did pull it off a few times at high level. I mean, at the US Open, we did it against Igor and his partner. I forgot his name now, Charlie. And they were the number 2
seed. Those are 5-0 players all day long.
Yeah, for sure. So I got it. So it works. And you know what's the coolest thing? People have been sending me a few clips here and there of them trying to perform it or practice it. So shout outs to everybody who's just giving it a try and having fun with it. And also the best comment, we don't have a comment for this week for our podcast, but there was one comment on my Batman video that I thought was hilarious. It was my buddy James, and he said, "Yeah, when Will does the Batman, but if you block it, it's called the Joker." I was like, this guy, he's trolling me so hard. And the funny thing is that he has blocked it on me a few times because he's seen it. He knows it's coming, and then he looks at me and he just asks me, "Why so serious?" Well, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" And I'm about to leave the court. I'm like, "Okay, James, you win. I forfeit. We're going."
Dude,
now.
It's so good though calling it the Joker because the joke is definitely on you if you pull this off and it just gets blocked right back at you because you're not set up to hit the next ball.
No, I'm totally not. The amount of times that I've got hit back in my back or whatever, and it got body bagged is more than I can count. Yeah.
Basically, if the shot's not a winner, you lose.
Yes. Just to summarize again, if you guys are new and you haven't listened to previous episodes of what the Batman is, the Batman is essentially a screened down the line speed up where you screen the ball like a dink, like with your own body. That's essentially what it is. And you just do some finagling with your arms, crossing your body. And gosh, when I say it, it sounds dumb in my head. It sounds dumb.
Here's the thing. I mean, you even said it in the video. It's not a great shot, but man, if you're playing rec with some friends and you hit this, it sure makes them look dumb.
No, yeah, it is. Shout outs to Yanggis Khan or Tickle My Pickle. Well, I don't know if it was him or if it was one of his friends who did it in a rec play, but when he pulled it off, he body bagged the person in front of him, and he was so hyped. He was like, "Oh, I did it!" And it was good. He asked me, he messaged me and tagged me. He's like, "Dude, does this count?" And I was like, "Dude, for sure that counts. Heck yeah!"
Dude, the only successful Batman I have ever hit was a body bag.
Yeah, that's right. See, there you go.
I'm gonna keep trying it. I mean, I'm already full of stupid shots. I might as well add more stupid shots to my arsenal.
Speaking of other stupid shots, well, not me stupid shots, but stupid stories. You should move on to this next one you put up. Go ahead.
Okay, so here's the thing, guys. If any of you were at the Atlanta PPA this weekend and you thought you were talking to me while you were there, you weren't. You were talking to my younger brother, and every time he has gone to a tournament without me, a bunch of you guys think he's me. And you know what? So I asked him because I was like, "Did you at least tell people it's not me?" Like after you had a conversation, and he was like, "No, I just decided to go with it this time." And I was like, dude, if you ignore someone or like you're in a bad mood and someone thinks you're me, now it's going to reflect poorly on me. And he was like, no. Like, he was like, it was fine. Like no one's worried about it. But here's the thing, guys. I know we look really similar, but I'm not 6'2". Like he's much taller than me. So just know we'll put it this way. If I don't say hi back to you or I seem a little off, just assume it's my younger brother.
Yeah.
Because I probably won't do that to you.
Also, if you see him play and he doesn't look like a 3'5", clearly it's Chris's brother, because Chris's brother is the better pickleball player by far.
And here's the other thing. So I have two brothers. I have Patrick and Isaac. Isaac was the one in Atlanta. My middle brother, Patrick, is who I usually play doubles with. And at the U.S. Open...
You guys are twins.
When he doesn't have a beard, we look fairly similar. But most of the time he has a beard. And Pickleball Mama from Instagram came up to take a picture.
Oh yeah, with me.
She thought he was me.
Yeah. It was with me. She asked to take a photo with me, and I was like, yeah, sure thing. She's like, oh, and she was like, oh, you too, come through. And then she pointed at Patrick, and I think instantly me and Patrick and I realized that she must have mistaken Patrick for you. And after she took the photo, she's like, oh, thanks guys, I can't wait to tag you and post you. And Patrick and I were like, I don't think we didn't have the heart to tell her. She definitely tagged you, and we told her after. It was hilarious.
She did tag me, and I commented, "That's my brother. That's not me."
No, she took it. She took it to heart. Well, no, she didn't take it to heart. I mean, she was a good sport about it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. So just know, I have two brothers that look pretty similar to me. Mm-hmm. So yeah, just keep that in mind. If there's a tournament I didn't announce that I was going to, and it just magically seems like I'm there, probably a brother. That has happened. I mean, honestly, the entire time we've been playing pickleball, people have mixed me and my siblings up for a while. Mm-hmm. Some of my friends close friends that I played pickleball with, I asked her, I said, okay, how did you tell us apart in the beginning? Now, keep in mind, my younger brother, Isaac, is like 6'2". He's way taller than me and my brother, and he's pretty skinny. Then you got Patrick, has a beard. And then you've got me. I don't really know what I bring to the table, but I don't know. I don't have a beard, and I'm not really tall. So I said, how'd you tell us apart? And she goes, oh, I just knew that you had a wedding ring on your finger. And I was like, you're telling me it wasn't the guy that's like 4 or 5 inches taller, or the guy with a full
beard,
face of beard? Like...
Wait, clearly this person was into you, because the first thing that they remember is that you had a wedding ring. So clearly they were like, oh, I wonder if he's single, trying to date you. I don't know. Maybe.
But see, she's also married, so I don't think it was that.
I don't know. I'm just trying to theorize here. That's all. That is all.
That is an interesting theory, Will. That is an interesting theory.
Also, real quick,
right,
shout outs.
Anyways.
Wait, real quick. We shout outs to the Pickleball Mama, because she played in, I think the pro singles, and she played against James Ignatowicz. I saw some of the clips, and she got a few winners on Mr. Ignatowicz. It was actually pretty sweet. She posted it up. I was very impressed.
Did you say where? Which tournament?
I can't even remember. I don't remember if it was for this tournament or not. I just remember seeing it. I don't think it was this one, though. Was it the one before? I just saw some clips of it. I was just running through social media, and I saw she was playing in the pro brackets for dubs, for mixed.
And then she also I had no idea she played pro.
Yes, she's very good.
Well, very cool. Very cool. Yeah. Well, you want to tell us about this next story?
Oh, yes. Speaking of...
This made my day.
Did it really? The pro plays? Okay, so here's the thing. Guys, we are in... I think we've made it, because we have haters and trolls. I mean, between you, me, Shea, and Kyle, I feel like Shea gets the most haters out of all of us, for whatever reason. And
for sure.
let's if you guys follow Shea or haven't followed Shea, definitely go check out Shea. He put up a video in a series of I played pickleball for 1,000 days. In the last 1,000 days, or day 900 to 1,000, he gave a pretty sweet tip, in my opinion, and it is called the seesaw effect. Do you know about the seesaw effect, Chris?
Yeah, oh yeah.
You do? Yeah, you want to explain to the audience real quick what the seesaw effect is?
Yeah, it's basically just that if you see someone reaching below the net, either for a dink or maybe they're going to take a speed up out of the air, you want your paddle up high, because if they're low, the ball has to come up. So you're just having your paddle ready. And then vice versa. If their paddle is high, like they're about to hit a put away, your paddle should be on the ground, because that's most likely where they're going to hit it. Like, it doesn't make sense to hold it at your chest, because the ball's probably going to your feet. So if they're up, you're down. If they're down, you're up.
Yes, exactly. And honestly, that is a solid tip or concept. And I think it is a very high level concept, and it was what Shea said in this video. And there was a guy who responded to Shea's video in the comments. He said, "This is terrible advice. You basically are saying every player is coded to hit that way, and therefore you admittingly are saying that your opponents are terrible. I guess give advice to keep crappy people crappy. Therefore you look better but are not. No PSY, I don't know, should do this. Give me a high ball and you're gone. Give me a low and I'll finesse it down and away or lob your double-handed slow backhand anyway. Good luck." And I was like, man, this guy is mad for like this tip. And Shea responded to this guy. Do we even need to mention him? I'm sure if you're out there, like, you can look in our stories or whatnot and find it. But anyways, Shea responded back to him and said, "1v1 me, $1,000 if you win, $500 if I win." And he put out the challenge. He put it on his story and everything. I even responded back to him. I was like, "Hey, crappy players are allergic to good advice, and this advice was for you. Take some Benadryl, my guy." And I was like, "Oh man."
But guy. Please tell us the Instagram story part. Do you have that up?
Shea's Instagram story part? No,
yeah,
I don't.
About like the rules for it. Basically,
no, I don't.
Shea put out an Instagram story and also tagged the guy, and it said, "Here are the rules for this deal." I think he said it was a 2 out of 3, win by 2. I will fly myself to you, and I will fly a rep out there to make the match fair. And then if that guy wins, he gets $1,000. If Shea wins, he gets $500. So
Did he respond?
I don't think he's responded to him because I also tagged him in an Instagram story and was like, "How much you want to bet this guy doesn't take the offer?" And I've been waiting for him to check my Instagram story. So all I'm going to say is if you're going to talk trash online, you better back it up.
Yeah, for real. Exactly. All these keyboard warriors out here, get out of here. Not with us. Y'all getting called out. For real.
And here's the funniest thing about this to me. I'm like, okay, why are you taking this so literally? As if he's taking it like, yeah, if their paddle's up, you should go down. That 100% of the time, the ball is going to go there. Yes, maybe there are times where the ball doesn't go there, but a good majority of the time, if the ball is high, they're trying to hit it at your feet. Like, right. Maybe they might accidentally smack it head height, and then you just get out of the way. But it's like, dude, it's just a general concept. It's not meant to be like every single time this will work like 100% of the time. Like, I don't know.
Right. It's almost like saying don't hit it through the middle or center of the court because the net is not lower in the center of the court. It's just the probability is there. That concept speaks true to the probabilities of pickleball and most players. Like, of course, that's not going to be the case 100% of the time, but maybe 80 to 95% of the time, that is the case. And you're just covering the probabilities. So it was a solid piece of advice. Like, Shea was out here essentially giving gold, and this man was digging for seashells, trying to throw it back at Shea.
It's so funny to me. I hope that match happens because it would be an incredible YouTube video. Win or lose. Honestly, my bet is that Shea would win this. But even if he didn't, amazing video. It was a keyboard warrior that was actually correct for once. So, yes. I don't know. Hope he hits him up, but we'll
see.
wait.
We'll keep you posted. We'll keep you posted if on the updates of that story.
For sure. Well, anyways, the other thing I wanted to cover real quick is if you guys are looking to pick up some court shoes right now, Tennis Express has an insane deal on my favorite pair of court shoes. If you guys don't know which ones those are, it's the Head Revolt 4.0s. I've been wearing them for the last year straight. I absolutely love these shoes for a number of reasons. If you guys have been around, you've probably heard me talk about it. I just think they're a fantastic shoe, and I have no plans on switching away from them anytime soon. But on tennisexpress.com, they have a white and blue pair that you can get, well, white or blue. There's two options, and they're $89 a pair, down from $129 a pair. If that wasn't good enough for you, if you use code NSW2023, it will save you $20 per order. Now, unfortunately, if you put two pairs of shoes in one cart, it only gives you 20 off. So you have to place like 3 different orders if you wanted the $20 discount to apply to each. But that brings the shoe price down to $69 a pair. Like that, for a court shoe, that is absolutely insane. And these shoes have a 6-month outsole warranty. So like if you wear them out, you can just ship them back. Make sure you keep the original box, by the way, because I think I had a friend once who didn't, and they wouldn't take it. So make sure you keep the box. But anyways, $69 a pair is insane. And I checked right before this episode. They have a ton of sizes. I didn't look at all of them, but it was like they had size 7 up to like 12 or 11. And like pretty much every shoe was in stock. So it's not like only size 8 or only size 9. It was like basically all of them. So if you're looking for a new court shoe, go check them out. If you like head shoes, I recommend stocking up.
Yes, I recommend those shoes as well. I do like them. They're probably my second favorite pair of shoes after the New Balance 996's version, I think 4.5. But yeah, the Head Revolt 4.0s are really good. Have you tried any other shoes until you came to that pair? Like I know a lot of people like the Jet Mach 3s and maybe some of the K-Swisses, but what did you think of any of the other pairs?
I tried quite a few. I started on the Head Revolt 3.5s. That pair wasn't that great. I think it actually was a little bit of the reason that I had some of my foot issues. Then after that, I tried the Diadora Blue Shield 5. I liked those a lot. They were pretty bulky, but they helped my feet. After that, I tried the Diadora B Icon, and I wrecked those shoes so fast. I put a hole in the sidewall so fast from how I drag. It was a great shoe if you don't drag on the sides of your feet. And then I did try the Babolat Jet Mach 3s, and that was like right as I got the Revolts as well. The Jet Machs are good, but I definitely needed to go up a half a size for those because they were so tight on my feet. Like I have not had any shoe that was tight, but the Jet Machs were tight. Those were good too. They were pretty light. I felt fast in them, but I've liked the Revolts more. My feet just feel so good in them.
I see. Maybe I should get some of those shoes for my buddies who I just helped start pickleball. I don't know if you remember on my story a while ago, my buddy Jeremy and Sam.
Yeah.
I brought them to play, and we were only going to dink around, maybe play some doubles, but I went to leave to get some water, and I came back. They already started playing singles, and they were having a blast, and they were going at it. But by the end of that, not even by the end of that day, not even the end of that session, but my buddy Sam jumped up for this ball, landed kind of funky, popped his Achilles, and I think he had to go get it checked out. Maybe got a little procedure done. He's good now, but lesson to him is that, and any of you guys out there who are just starting pickleball, definitely invest in some court shoes and get some actual tennis shoes. Don't use running shoes. Don't use some trainers. Get some actual court shoes. And if you don't have court shoes, if you have basketball shoes, that's probably the next best thing, but don't slip on the shoes. If you can spend some money on a new paddle or like new tennis shoes, get the tennis shoes. I guarantee it's a better investment. Guaranteed.
Yes, choose shoes over a paddle because it'll make a huge difference. I'm gonna give a shout out to this person here, and I'm sure I'm gonna get a text as soon as they hear their name on this podcast.
Oh no!
But Jay Pound is the only person I know. He's like someone from my church we played pickleball with, and he refuses to buy court shoes. He has played in like everything. He has played in. Actually, I'm not sure if he's played in that weird like barefoot shoe. He might have once, or he just wears these super basic running shoes, or just like I've seen him in basically every kind of shoe except a court shoe. And I'm always like, dude, please just buy a court shoe. And he won't do it. He's given me reasons why he won't do it, but don't be like Jay, guys. Go get a court shoe. It will just be better for you.
I'm like
overall.
Trey sometimes. Remember that time we were at the Ohio MLP and I was playing against Bobby from at the time in some slides. I think we beat them too.
And we beat them.
Yeah.
We beat them.
We beat them. I was playing some rec games as well with Alex Truong's dad, and I was wrecking.
Now, to be fair, would not recommend someone playing slides. For sure thought you were going to break your ankle.
It's pretty close.
Yeah. So, yeah, anyways, get some court shoes, guys. Definitely check out those pair of shoes. And if you do get them, please let me know either through, email me, YouTube comment, wherever. Let me know what you think of the shoes. I'm always curious what other people think. So far, it's been the one thing I will mention about the shoes is if you are a wide foot, I would not recommend them because the one thing I know for sure is that people who have wide feet, their biggest complaint has been that they didn't fit. I must just have a pretty normal sized foot because I haven't had the issue, but wide feet people have told me they didn't fit very well. So just keep that in mind.
Gotcha. Good to know. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Well, moving on, we're going to get into our primary topic. But before that, we just have a new thing I kind of want to try and add to the podcast. We'll see if it sticks around. But to know if you guys made it towards the end of the podcast, we're adding a segment called The Kitchen. And just let us know if you made it to the kitchen at the end of the podcast. I thought this was a funny little double play on word. You have to get to the kitchen in pickleball after your third shot. If you make it to the end of our podcast, it was kind of like hitting a good third. So yeah, just comment down below if you made it to the kitchen and let us know what you think of the topic at the end there. But that's my funny little play on words.
You're so clever, Chris.
That's right. I try. It might be corny, but I try. Okay.
Yeah, you're the cornhole studio.
A bunch of people gave great engagement on that joke. People seem to love it. So maybe I should just become the cornhole studio at some point.
Yes, you should.
When we're done with pickleball. Yes. Okay. PPA. Just so you guys know, there are spoilers in this. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, now is the time to click off the podcast. But anyways, we'll get right into it. The first thing I want to talk about, Will, is what do you think pickleball has started to become not more of a spectator sport, as in like more people would rather watch than play, but compared to like a year ago, people's willingness to want to watch pro pickleball versus now, do you think it's increased?
I think so. I think it's increased. The production value is getting better. More people are getting into it. I think it's become more watchable because more people are getting into it, and it's just everywhere, and people are trying to improve and see what's possible, see what's out there. And now it's, I guess, becoming more accessible, I guess, maybe, because it went from YouTube. Now it was streamed on Amazon. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. I feel in the last year, I just know more people who are watching it. I feel like in the Facebook groups, more people are talking about it than they used to. I think the production value has gotten way better compared to a year ago. Like when Dundon took it over, there were things initially that were good, but there was also a lot of bad. And it just seems like it continues to get better and better. Still has a couple quirks here and there, but I thought overall the Amazon Prime streaming was really good. And, you know, there's been a couple things at like Lifetime where they put out a thing and they're like, hey, this Saturday, we're just going to do a watch party. Come in, watch pickleball. And it wasn't packed, but, you know, people showed up and they came to watch pickleball. And even myself, on the weekend, I'm finding now that me and Sarah will just she'll be like, hey, is there pickleball on this weekend? We'll just turn it on. I'll usually blast through some emails and just have it on in the background and try to take some notes for the podcast and whatnot. But even myself, I just find myself more willing to watch it than I was a year ago. And I feel like that sentiment has kind of been the same across the board.
Oh, okay, yeah, I feel similar. Although, I'm not going to lie, I didn't really enjoy it on Amazon. Or I just didn't like the fact that I had to juggle between the YouTube stream and then Amazon as well. Because Amazon was one court and then the other courts, the grandstand court, was on YouTube. And that was a bit annoying to watch. You know, who did you want to watch? But I guess that is also the same for YouTube, I guess, if it's on two streams, like two courts, so you still have to switch between. But it's better on YouTube because you can rewind, and the interface, I believe, to be a little bit better and smoother. I don't know, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, for sure. I do think the biggest gripe this weekend with Amazon Prime was that you couldn't rewind, which I do think is a little bit silly and annoying for pickleball because I think there's plenty of reasons you may want to rewind. I would say YouTube is, in terms of what I have seen on any of the streaming platforms, it's just more enjoyable on YouTube. You know, there is the chat if you want to look at that.
Yeah, and the chat. I was missing the chat. The
chat is pretty wild sometimes. Hey, careful. They get upset when you call it toxic. Not everyone's toxic in there, guys. There's just a couple people in there who are a little wild out there. But yeah, I mean, I think YouTube right now fits it better. But, you know, I think when you think about it, it's not going to stay that way forever. Think about it. If we go to become an actual pro sport, like people want it to be, there's no way we're going to continue on YouTube. I think we're going to see more of these ESPN deals, Amazon Prime, whatever other networks. But so far, I don't have that many complaints. I didn't really need to rewind this weekend, so I just turned it on, let it play, and it was fine. So I didn't personally have gripes, but I know there were people out there who did.
Okay.
And I think, too, on top of that, it's just good for pickleball to land these deals. We're just getting in front of more potential eyeballs, which hopefully makes the sport bigger and bigger, which leads to more parks, facilities, paddles get better. Just the sport gets better as we get more mainstream attention.
Yes, agreed. So that's a good thing, right? It's a good thing. Overall, I think it's a good thing. We're just being critical because maybe we don't like change. At least I don't like change, and I just didn't really enjoy streaming it on Amazon. That's all it was.
Yeah, for sure. All right, moving on. Anna Leigh gets her 14th Triple Crown since 2021. 14 Triple Crowns.
Rushing it. Just absolutely destroying everybody. Oh my gosh.
14 is unreal. I just don't get it. Like, how is she this much better than every female in pickleball? I looked, and you might have it up. If you do, you can tell me what the results were. But she just cruised through the singles brackets. I feel like it is not uncommon. I'd have to go back and look at her history, but I think I saw someone mention it somewhere. She rarely even drops a game on her way to Sunday in singles. And this tournament, she didn't drop a single game in singles, and she beat Catherine 11-1, 11-0.
Yes, no, she destroyed everybody. Let's take a look at her journey to the finals. She got a bye in the first round. She beat Ava Ignatowicz, which is James Ignatowicz's sister, 11-7, 11-2. And then she beat Jude Castillo, 11-6, 11-0. And then, yes, you're right, she beat Catherine Parento, which is, was she the number 2 seed going to this tournament? Do you know?
No, it was probably Leia, because I assume if she was the number 2 seed, they would have put them on opposite sides of the bracket.
This is true. But Catherine has beat Anna Leigh Waters in the past before, and she's one of the top single women's players. And I don't know if she had a bad day or something was up, but she lost 11-1, 11-0. No mercy whatsoever. And then, of course, we got to give a shout out to Mary Bracia, because that's who Anna Leigh Waters met in the finals, and Mary lost 11-5, 11-4. But also, Mary had a great run. Love to see it. Mary's so nice. We love Mary here.
Mary's fantastic. She had a really good run. She beat Leia Jansen and who else?
Jana Grechkina and Salome.
Yep.
11-5, 11-4.
So, definitely took down some solid singles player. Salome and Leia are usually fighting for the finals for the women's singles game. So I feel like I haven't seen Mary in singles in a while, so it was fun to see her take such a deep run at this tournament.
Yeah, and all smiles. I'm sure she had a great time, regardless of how she was doing.
Always smiles for Mary. But, dude, that singles performance, and it's not even uncommon for Anna Leigh to do this. And here's the crazy part. It's not like she's in her early 30s or something. People are always talking about, is Tyson going to be over the hill soon? She's 16. She's got like another
decade,
16, 17 years of could play this at a super high level. Or even if you wanted to just go super conservative, which would be unbelievably conservative, 10 years of this.
Right.
Can you imagine another 10 years of her getting better?
What do you think makes her so much better than the rest of the field?
Dude, I honestly just couldn't tell you. One, because I'm horrible at analyzing pros. It's funny whenever I have conversations with Kyle about the pro game, he is absurdly good at just breaking down small things about either drilling or pros games, like footwork or positioning. I'm like, dude, I could not have got any of that from watching that point.
I need to call Kyle and talk to him more about the pro game and strategies and positioning or whatnot. I'm sure he breaks it down. And I do think about it at that level sometimes, but I'm sure he gets even into greater detail than either of us could possibly find, possibly because Kyle's much better than both of us, and he drills with high-level people all the time. But yes.
Yeah, for sure. To me, just watching her in singles, she just gets to every single ball. And then balls that you're like, oh, okay, she's way out of position or she's way off balance or she's on the run. Then she just paints a corner and you're like, this is the only shot you had and you managed to nail the line. And it's just absurd to me how good she is at this game.
She's a shot maker and she's really just good outstretched. For me, it's her balance. I just believe that she's never out of position or rarely out of position, but even when she is, she's so balanced when she's performing her shots. When she's outstretched, it's quite impressive, and she picks her moments to come to the net quite well. She's not as tall, I think, as some of the other players. Like, I mean, some of the women players are not that tall either, aside from maybe Leia. I don't know how tall Salome is, but she closes and chooses her times to come into the net very, very well. And at that point, she has the power to back it up. And her backhand, it's the rolls that she gets with her backhand, the shots that she can make with her backhand is crazy good. I wouldn't be surprised if she has a really mean like left hand, right? Just some of the shots that she's hooking with her backhand is just kind of crazy.
I wonder how well she would play left-handed. I feel like she would have to be decent left-handed with how good her backhand is.
No, she's definitely good. If I ever get a chance to play her in a pros versus Joes, if she beats me the first game, I'm going to do best out of 3, maybe best out of 5. I'm sure her stamina is way better than mine. But every single time she beats me, there has to be some sort of handicap. I start off the next game with like 5 points, and then the next game she has to play left-handed, and we'll see how this goes.
That would be so funny.
Would you cheer for me? Would you put money on me, Chris?
If she was left-handed?
If she was left-handed, yeah.
Are you playing with any sort of handicap?
No, definitely not.
I think I would bet on you if she had to play left-handed and you were right-handed.
Okay, I mean, my age enough is a handicap. Come on.
Here's the problem though. If you were truly doing a 3 out of 5 and like the third game was her playing left-handed, then I might start changing my mind, because at that point you might not have any gas left in the tank.
Okay, fair enough.
So but if you were fresh, I would bet on you.
Oh, wow, that's a lot coming from you. I appreciate it. Wow, you really are a homie. Yes.
That's right. I try. Okay, well, enough about Annalie. She obviously amazing. It's fun to watch her game, and I'm sure she will continue to be dominant for a long time. But the next one, this was a good little upset we had at the tournament. Christian Alshon upset Ben in singles in 3 games. It was 11-5, 6-11, 11-7.
Good match for singles. If you enjoyed watching singles, some of the reaches and the stretches, the defense from Christian was very good, very absurd. The way that he just takes one step and he's pretty good outstretched as well, and he's able to reset. And Ben is flicking and rolling balls to the right, to the left. It was quite impressive feat of athleticism from Christian for sure.
Yeah, it was super fun match to watch, and I think just seeing that upset in the PPA is something people are looking for. It causes a shakeup, and then you get some different finals, you get some different results, different winners, whatever. It generates some excitement. So I did get to catch that match. It was pretty exciting, and I think that's a huge win for Alshon, not even having been in pickleball for a year yet, and defeating the #1 singles player in the world is pretty amazing. But now you know that Ben is going to add Christian to his little book and probably never lose to him again. Just kidding. Maybe not never again, but I'm sure Ben will be studying up.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that match honestly could have gone either way. I think
sure.
That they were playing. And do you think Christian was a little gassed? Did you watch the matches afterwards to see how he performed afterwards? Because he didn't make it to the finals.
I didn't see the matches afterward. Well, actually, hang on. Did I? No, I didn't see, because he played JW and I didn't see. I think I went to go play pickleball after Ben, so I didn't see JW's match against him.
Well, that was a close match. It was essentially a repeat. The match went to 3 games. He lost to JW Johnson 8-11, 11-6, 11-9. So some very, very close games for sure.
Nail biter.
Mm-hmm.
That's brutal.
I think he's only getting better. Christian's only getting better. So love to see it.
Yep. And then after that, the other side of the singles bracket, we had Connor Garnett. He made his first PPA singles final. He is just a happy looking guy. He's fun to watch. He's got some good athleticism.
I love Connor. I love Garnett. He's awesome. He's a cool guy. Ever since I met him at the first minor league, I just knew. I was like, Connor is going places with that freaking backhand. But yes, he upset Tyson McGuffin on his way to the finals. That was a good match. I watched most of that match as well. And let me see the score line. It was 11-7, 10-12, 11-7. A nail biter. Oh my gosh.
That's some good games. Taking out Tyson is no joke, and he also took out AJ Kohler, Julian Arnold, and Jay Kussmeiter on the way to that final. So those are all for them. I mean, there's some really good names in there. Julian, Tyson, Jake, like those guys are no joke.
Yeah, no joke, especially for singles. But ultimately, in the end, J.W. Johnson came out on top, beating Connor Garnett in the finals 11-4, 7-11, 11-9. Some really good singles matches.
That last game was so good. I was writing all these emails and I stopped and I was like, holy cow. Well, first, it was maybe 10-4. JW was up and I was like, okay, he's going to close this out. There's a couple side outs. And then Connor just gets a bunch of points in a row. And I was like, oh my gosh, is he actually about to pull off the upset? And then I was kind of glued to the seat watching this like, dude, do it. You got it. And then it just didn't quite go his way.
It's all good. He's going to have more opportunities for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, he's exciting to see. I'm sure he'll have more, and he was definitely a lot of fun to watch this tournament.
All right.
Also, go ahead.
No. I was just looking through the list of your show notes. Go ahead.
For sure. I was just going to say, I meant to mention this earlier, but Mary had a great singles run, but her and her sister also had a really good doubles run. They made it to the semifinals, played against Vivian David and Georgia Johnson, and I for sure thought they were going to Championship Sunday because I don't remember what the exact score was, but they had like 4 or 5 match points. Ooh. It was like 10-8 or 10-9, and then it ended. Did it end 10-12? Do you have that up?
They lost it 4-11, 11-0, 14-12. Wow. What?
14-12. Dude, that was a really good match. I don't know if people are going to be able to go back and watch that one on Prime. I think it goes on demand afterward, but it's worth watching.
You can't just rewatch it? Like pull it up on Amazon Prime?
I think like a day after it said it was going to be on demand. At least every day that the broadcast ended for me, it said something about it was going to be on demand at some point. I don't know when that time is or if that was ever going to happen, but that's what I was reading.
Wow. Well, love to see it. I mean, not that I'm sad or anything. It was a great match. It would have been really cool to see Mary make it to 2 finals in the same weekend. That would have been a week for. I mean, not to say that it wasn't a week in a great tournament for her. So, good stuff, Mary. Good stuff.
No, congrats to her for sure.
Heck yeah. I know. I'm still trying to see a Mary go around the Magic Mary shot again.
I think we got graced that once, and it might be the only one we see in our lifetime, at least in a pro highlight.
No, I'm hoping for it. You know,
we'll see.
Here's the thing: if I ever get a chance to play Mary in a pros versus shows, I'm gonna feed her. I mean, a ball like that just to see if she'll pull it off on me. I'm gonna aim right there over her left shoulder just to see if she pull it off against me.
That would be great. Then we could have a second highlight version of it.
That's right. Mary, start practicing because it's going to happen. I'm just letting you know right now.
For sure. And talking about them, one thing I noticed this weekend, and I'm curious, as paddles start to hit harder and harder, if we're going to see more of this, is protective eyewear, because both Brasha sisters were wearing it. Anna Lee wears it. Anna Bright sometimes wears it. Lina was wearing protective eyewear. I like to wear it. When it's sunny out, I will wear sunglasses, and it's one for the sun, but also because I do feel more comfortable on the court when I have protective eyewear on, and I wonder if it will become more common because as the game gets this fast, you're only 14 feet away. If you're hitting a ball 30, 40 miles an hour, people all the time say, oh, it's a plastic ball, it doesn't hurt that much. Yeah, maybe if it hits you in the chest, you'll get over it, but if that sharp ball nails you in the eye, there's been several instances of people on Facebook saying their eye is fully blind from taking a pickleball to the eye. So all it takes is one bad accident, and I just think with how hard they're hitting the ball these days,
Right.
I can see why more pros are starting to wear it.
Especially with all these new paddles that are just super powerful. And this is the part where Chris inserts a code for you to buy some sort of eyewear and get a certain percentage off.
Unfortunately, I don't have a code, but I can recommend Rhea eyewear and the Gearbox glasses, because the Gearbox glasses are what I used to use, and the Rhea eyewear are what I use out in the sun, and they both work great. And the Gearbox ones are cheap. They're $40 or something, but while I used them, the clear ones were fantastic. I never had any issue with them.
Yeah, I'll have to pick some up, since I typically wear sunglasses, but sometimes you don't always need sunglasses. And it'd be nice just to have some clear ones. It's just in the bag. And it makes sense Gearbox makes good ones, because they've been in the racquetball game for a while, and people who play racquetball, they're always wearing eyewear. The ball travels so fast, in that little box. So that makes perfect sense. Okay.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to just have the eyewear. I don't know. And when you're talking about amateur level, it feels almost more important because the ball is so much more sporadic. At least at the higher levels, if they have a high ball, they're probably hitting it at your feet. An accident might happen. But generally speaking, the ball is more predictable than, say 4-0 and below, where they might just shank a ball. And I've had a couple times where I was wearing protective eyewear, and if I wasn't, the ball was going to be a direct hit to my eye. It knocked my glasses off, or it just hit directly where my eye was. I actually had one time where I was doing some hands training, and I went to block the ball, but my paddle face was too open, and I literally hit the ball into my own face. So next level stuff right there, hitting yourself in the face. But
that actually reminds me of the first time I went to go visit you, and we did the video, 3 tips for fastest hands. Till this day, that's actually one of my favorite videos that is on my channel. Shameless plug here. If you want to go watch that video, it's Chris and I's first collab, I think, or one of our first collabs ever. And there's a section in it where I asked Chris to actually get hit by balls on purpose, and he's just mortified at the thought. And I'm pegging balls at him, and I don't know. It was a good time, at least for me. And I was like, okay, if Chris never talks to me ever again, at least I got this video out.
I was going to say, you want to know why it's your favorite video? It's because you got to just hit balls at me for free.
This is true. This is true. Yeah, so go
the
check
best
out
part
that
is Will would be like, no. Make it let me hit you harder. Just don't move so much. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to get hit by the ball. Calm down. It was so funny.
But to be fair, I don't hit that hard though.
When you're 14 feet away, we had some marks. We had some marks on the body.
Okay. Anyways, moving on. We talked about the women's. Did we talk about the women's doubles finals? Who made it to the women's doubles finals?
I believe. Well, it was Vivian and Georgia, and then Anna Bright and Anna Lee. I actually didn't get to watch this one because I was picking up my brother from the airport while that one was on. But I think it was kind of a bloodbath.
Anna squared. Let me pull it up. Right here. They won 11-4, 11-3, 11-5. Yep. Bloodbath.
Yeah. That's a bloodbath. Didn't even get a game. That's unfortunate.
Ooh, I watched some of that. That was actually pretty good. The Anna squared combo is pretty deadly, I feel.
Dude, how low do you think, in terms of a female ranking, how low could Anna Lee go and still win tournaments, do you think?
Ooh. That's a good question.
I can't even think of a name in terms of the rankings, how low we could go or whatever. But I just wonder, because she wins with Anna Bright, she wins with Catherine, and I don't know if she's switched it up outside of those two recently. But I just wonder who else she could take and still win.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like she could take a lot of different people and win. I don't know. It'd be wild. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. And honestly, I don't know enough about the women's field to say otherwise. But what I can say is that I do believe that the women's field is still very wide open, where somebody new can come in and make a splash. The depth of talent on the women's field, it's growing, but it's nowhere near the depth and quality on the men's side, in my opinion. And Anna's just miles above the rest. I feel like she could go pretty low, probably in top 30, I would say.
Oh, you think she'd go all the way to 30s? Wow, that'd be
I think
crazy.
I think so.
Oh man, I don't know if I'd go that low, but it would be. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. Probably won't ever see it, but I'd love to see it.
As long as her partner has, I feel, as long as her partner has a good drive and she can tell her partner where to drive it and is so good at closing the net and poaching on both sides, forehand or backhand, she would just crush it. I think they could be successful.
For sure.
That's just my thoughts.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, the only other thing really quick is just mixed. Obviously, Ben and Annalie won. That's how they got the Triple Crown. It was Riley and Paris played together. I think that one went to 4 games. I think Riley and Paris won the first one. But other than that, it really wasn't too special.
Well, yeah, they won 8-11, 11-1, 11-6, 11-3. So Paris and Riley did get a game off in the first game, and then they kind of just got figured out, it looks like.
Yeah, for sure. So,
did you watch that?
I watched... Actually, I think I did watch all of that one. But again, I was in and out with emails, and because nothing exciting really was happening. The most exciting thing that happened in that match was Riley went for an Ernie, and as he was finishing the Ernie, he was on the left side of the court. The paddle slipped out of his hand, and he threw it right into the crowd, and it missed. It missed the 2 people sitting right in the front, went between them, and then hit someone in the back. But it didn't, as far as I'm aware, it didn't hurt anyone, and it didn't hit anyone in the head. But it was the perfect, if you weren't paying attention, you easily could have got smacked in the face by that paddle.
Oh my gosh, that's kind of scary.
So maybe it's not the players that need the protective eyewear. It's the people sitting in the stands.
It's like it's the splash zone, when you're this close, right?
I mean, hey, we've had the DJ Young paddle toss now. Now we got the Riley Newman. Anything else we need to worry about here?
No, I don't think so. Other balls maybe flying. Oh, maybe Jake Kusmiter running, into the stands, into the people, running down balls like he did against Jack Sock.
Oh my
at the North Carolina tournament.
Headbutt the screen.
Yeah, headbutt the barrier. Well, I'll say I did watch some of the mixed match, and there was a few points when they were kind of down. Near the end of the match, Paris was going after Ben. They were having some exchanges, and she came out on top, and it was pretty nice to see. But also, also I have to mention this because did you see what Paris was wearing?
I did.
Her top?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell me why her top looked like she was wearing a designer handbag.
See, I didn't see it until you texted me, but after that, I could kind of see how it looked like a handbag.
Okay, well, not to say that it looked bad.
Not that it looked bag. Oh my gosh.
Sorry, that was a slip up right there. But it looked like a handbag to me, and through the whole entire match, all I could think about was, that top was probably like, hey, are you supposed to be carrying me, or am I supposed to be carrying you? And that's all I could think about, and I just laughed and chuckled to myself the whole entire time. And it was stupid.
So funny. Okay, well, we've officially made it to the kitchen. Woo! So if you made it to the kitchen with us, let us know in a comment down below. And actually, you know what? Since this is the first time we've done this, I also want to know if you have heard every single episode of the Pickleball Studio podcast, leave a comment down below on YouTube and let us know, because I'd love to know how many people who are at least listening to this one have made it through every single episode, because I think that would kind of be an accomplishment. This is our 40th episode, Will. We are almost to 50.
That's kind of crazy to me, because it's hard to be consistent in just about anything. We talked about this before, and the fact that we've stayed this consistent week in and week out. When we started this podcast, this thing was a project that we didn't think was going to really go anywhere, but here we are. It's quite impressive, to be quite honest. Yeah.
No, it's crazy. I mean, especially some of the weeks, there are definitely weeks where it's not convenient for either of us. I think I'm at the point now where I pretty much have I just know, okay, hey, this is just part of my weekend. I'm just not allowed to schedule things during this time. But what also makes it difficult for us is sometimes we have tournaments. We're going to the Selkirk tournament in Texas, and we are going to be there from Wednesday to Sunday, and you and I are going to have to record a podcast Sunday evening at the Airbnb so that I can edit and get it out on Monday. And we're going to be tired for sure, but I don't know. It feels cool to be just so consistent at something and not not miss a week. And I refuse to miss a week at this point.
Right.
We're too deep to miss.
We have to do something special for our 100th episode. Will we reach 100 this year?
No, we won't hit 100 this year.
Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah.
What did you have any thoughts or plans or ideas in mind for our 100th episode celebration?
Well, so here's the thing with pickleball. It changes so rapidly and so much that by the time we hit number 100, which is sometime next year, who knows where we'll be? Like, it could be, who knows? Maybe we're podcasting at a PPA tournament or something. Oh, super random thing. I have to talk about this because this is so funny. Okay, did you see the fire dancers at the PPA?
I saw one clip of them on the stream, but as soon as I saw it, I zoned out. I said, okay, I'm not watching this. I have other things to do. But what happened?
Dude, both me and Sarah were like, why the heck do they have a fire dancer on center court right now? And then Memes of Pickleball had the perfect meme for it. They said, I love Memes of Pickleball, dude. They are just my favorite pickleball account. It said, players, hey, PPA, can we please have more court space between the courts at tournaments? And then it said, PPA, here's a fire dancer. It just felt so out of place. Like, why do we're not looking for like a halftime show at the PPA. Like, why do we have a fire dancer on the court right now?
This is when the Fire Nation attacked. You know,
Oh my
that's what
God.
it was.
It was so funny to me. Gosh, Memes of Pickleball is so... They had other fantastic memes. They had some good ones about...
Christian. When Christian beat Ben, the guy running like super fast.
So it was like Christian on his way to finish the vlog.
That he beat Ben Jones. That I was dying. I am looking forward to that vlog. I want to see what his thoughts were and how he felt after he beat him.
Yeah, for sure, for real. I definitely want to know. But okay, anyways, we've made it to the kitchen. We just have one other topic I wanted to talk about, and it was just some thermoforming updates. Pick your brain on this a little bit, Will. Okay, I think we have officially hit, or we are on the very edge of hitting this point, maybe 1 to 2 more months, and I think will have hit this point. But there are so many variations of the thermoformed paddles that I think we are getting to a place like last year where it's like Gen 1 raw carbon fiber paddles, where it's like, yeah, there's a couple that stand out, and it's like, yeah, you might want this one for some specific reasons, but then there's a whole bunch of them that it's like, yeah, like just pick one. And it's good. Like, don't sweat it that much. Every company's going to have one in the next 3 months.
Yes. No, totally agree. The thermoform paddles, or whatever you want to call it, heat wrapped or
hot molded, hot pressed.
molded.
Yeah, people have been getting like...
We're saying the same thing. It is essentially a unibody design where the edge of the paddles are wrapped around the core, and usually there's foam injected into it. It's stiffer and provides more pop and more power, essentially.
Yes. And I'm actually at the point now, there's definitely a few more or whatever that like I want to cover in terms of thermoform paddles. People have been asking about them, and I'll probably do some first looks, but I'm at the point now where when I hear a new one is coming out, I'm kind of like, like it needs to have some kind of standout feature. Otherwise, I'm kind of like, well, why is it worth checking out? Like, it's probably X paddle. Like, it's just the same thing as this, but you slapped your brand on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I don't know. I'm sure there will be some variations of it, but I'm just a little less enthused than I was a couple months ago. Like, I'm liking my double black diamond. I'm happy with it. Mm-hmm. Don't give me another clone of it, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
and
I see that.
One thing I do want to talk about real quick too is, so there's been a lot of talk about for a while. It's kind of slowed down now, but there was a lot of talk about, who was the first for thermoforming and yada yada yada. So here's a couple things. Thermoforming exists, as far as I'm aware, because of edge foam. If you do not do thermoforming, I don't think you can do the foam injected edge wall. Like you need that wall to hold the foam in place so it doesn't expand further.
I see.
So if you think about it for a minute, there are 2 paddles specifically I want to talk about that came out long before these other thermoformed paddles, and that was the 002, which I don't think it advertised its foam, when it came out, but they have since talked about it. And I even recently ripped an edge guard off my 002 to confirm it with my own eyes. And yes, it is indeed thermoformed like all these other paddles. Like, it is unibody all the way down to the handle. It's completely wrapped. In some ways, the 002 is actually a little more interesting because you know how companies will use those like wooden pieces to shape the handle?
Yes.
So on the 002, it's like the whole handle was stuck in a mold, and like the whole wrap is just like one piece, and it was shaped properly out of the mold instead of like adding pieces to make it an octagon.
Ah, interesting. You should do more of those. You should really just unwrap these paddles, saw them up, and cut them and show everybody, because I think people would appreciate that. At least all the paddle nerds would appreciate that. And then this way you can be more definitive of your answers and your reviews of these paddles.
For sure. And I want to do it too, because I'm just kind of tired of, I don't think most companies intentionally lie to me, but I feel that I discover things or have discovered things when I just cut it open myself and I get it. Kind of like the core crushing. Absolutely no one was talking about cores being crushed, and then I cut one of these things open. It's like, oh, well, would you look at that? That's not something anyone's been talking about. So just, I feel like I get a more definitive answer myself when I cut it open. But anyways, the whole reason I bring that up, 002 has edge foam, thermoformed, and the Hyperion also has edge foam and is thermoformed, and no one has talked about that. Now, maybe we call it like a 1.5 thermoformed or something, because
why doesn't it hit as hard as some of these newer paddles? Well, I don't know. The 002 still hits very hard, in my opinion, and the Hyperion still hits decently hard as well.
Well, we'll get to that in a second, but the Hyperion, the reason I wouldn't, okay, it's technically thermoformed if you want to go by the definition, or at least how most people talk about it.
Right.
The only thing is that it doesn't wrap all the way down to the handle. So the thermoforming stops at the neck, and that's why it has so many breaking issues at the throat. Is I believe the rest of the Yola handle is filled with foam, and it's not, the face doesn't extend all the way down. So it just creates a breaking point there. But I just wanted to say that those two, I have now cut them open, and I have seen they have foam and they have the edge wall. So it's just funny to me how thermoforming kind of became this big buzzword when it already existed, and companies were claiming like we were the first or whatever. So I don't know. It just, companies say a lot of things these days, and I feel like I have to be
more thorough
checker now.
Yeah, you have to be a fact checker. The paddle police here.
Yeah,
going to the paddle.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Here's how I feel like this is gonna go. There's one of two ways it can go, I feel like, with the company. You can either just tell me the information, or I can waste a paddle and cut it open and figure it out myself. So you might as well just tell me.
Yes.
So,
don't lie to Chris. Save him the time and effort.
Yeah, seriously. I don't know. We'll see where the market goes with that. But talking about why they don't hit as hard, okay, I can't tell you for 100% certainty the exact reason, but after cutting some of these open and talking to some other people, some of these companies are doing something different with the carbon fiber layup. There's a little extra thing inside there that I can't tell you exactly what it is. I have had some people tell me. Well, one, it feels weird possibly giving up company trade secrets. I don't really know how that lands in terms of IP stuff. It's just not really a territory I want to go to. And second, I don't have 100% confirmation that the material is what I think it is. I'm mostly positive, but I just, without being 100% sure, I don't want to make claims or whatever. But there's an extra thing in the face of some of these paddles that is part of the reason I believe they are hitting so hard and some of the other ones don't, and why they might not hit as hard. And then you combine that with, I don't know if you've noticed this, Will, but the manufacturing variance on thermoformed paddles is just so brutal. Like my Vatic review, people were like, dude, you think the 16 hits harder than the 14? And I was like, mine definitely does. Like, I cannot swing 100% on my serve and keep that ball in, but my 14, I can crank that thing, and that ball is, like, I'm not getting it to go out. And I've seen this with carbons. I've seen it with legacies. I've seen pretty much every single thermoformed brand. I have seen some out of the box hit harder than others, and I honestly think some of the paddles, their core might be more deteriorated out of the box. I haven't cut open a brand new paddle off the shelf to see if the core is slightly more damaged than one that's broken in.
Right.
But I think that's why. And it's just made reviewing some of them kind of a pain because it's hard to give a definitive answer on power because they're just all different.
Right. No. And obviously these things are not truly quantitative. It's not like you have a robot or some sort of machine that shoots a ball at the paddle at the same velocity every time so you can measure the velocity coming off the paddle. It's very hard. We're essentially here just giving you our thoughts on how the paddle feels. I wonder if there is an interesting or unique way where we can have a base paddle to compare things against, right? Because that's what people really want to know. Does it hit harder than this? Does it hit harder than that? Right? And to give a score like 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10 doesn't really mean anything because you don't have a core thing to compare those numbers against. And I don't know if you had some sort of ranking system, maybe, right? I think that is the next step, at least for you and maybe your spreadsheet where you choose one paddle. Maybe it's the 6-0, I don't know, the paddle that you play with the most. And that becomes the main baseline, and then you just rank everything from that baseline. It's less powerful than the 6-0, more powerful, is it more potential spinny or whatever? And I think that would be a much more useful tool for most people because that's what people really want to know.
For sure. And I think it's, I've had a lot of comments about, why don't you use a radar gun? And while that probably is better than nothing, I'm still not convinced that a radar gun is the proper way to do it. I own a radar gun. I was doing some tests maybe 7, 8, 9 months ago with the radar gun, and it just didn't seem like it was that helpful of a tool for quantitating power because there are just certain aspects of a paddle that I think they react differently when you hit the ball really hard versus when you're maybe doing a block or something.
Right.
So I don't know. I would love for paddle testing to get much more quantitative, but I think we're now at the stage where relatively serious money has to be put into machinery to do it. And it's like, okay, got to find someone to build it or find something that already exists. And then is it worth spending 20, 30, 40, 50 grand, however many grand on a robot just to be like, yeah, this paddle hits 2% harder than this one. Exactly. It's like, okay. And well,
who's making decisions off of a radar gun? If a paddle hits 56 miles per hour versus 56.4 miles per hour, right?
Well, more than likely, people probably aren't making sole decisions off of seeing that stat. I do think, it's probably just like the spin test where it's like, it's a relative guide, right? Like, oh, okay, maybe this one was 49 miles an hour and this one was 55. It's like, okay, yeah, there's probably a big enough difference there that's probably the one I want to go towards if I want a power paddle. I don't know. Maybe it's worth implementing, but every time I think about it or I've messed with it, I just kind of go, it doesn't feel like this is the best way to do it, so I don't end up wanting to add it or whatever. But also, I'm sure you feel this way, Will. At the end of the day, reviews, I want them to be as quantitative as possible. I want them to be as thorough as possible. I want the best information as possible. But at the end of the day, it's all just opinion based, right? You still got to try the paddle. My goal is to give you enough information to decide, should I look into this paddle? Should I not look into this paddle? And then you can go try it, hopefully get to try it, and then make your decision from there. Or you just know, okay, if Chris says this, it's like normally I don't really like that style of paddle, so maybe I can just skip it. It's just supposed to help be a guide rather than 100% fact. This is the one you should go buy, right? Like, I'm just trying to present information that makes it easier for the consumer.
Right. No, this is true. But that's what people watch your reviews and maybe to some extent my reviews for, is because they want that definitive answer. And at the end of the day, the best paddle for you is the one that helps you play confidently, right?
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
And a lot of them
there's
playing
plenty
the
of
same.
people. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I said a lot of them are playing the same because now I think, like you said before, we're reaching a point where everybody has some sort of thermoform paddle. A lot of them are playing very similarly, And we've mentioned this before, but it is splitting hairs sometimes trying to figure out the differences between them. They're all so very similar or just very good with minor nuances, and it's very difficult without having some sort of super quantitative test with some sort of expensive machinery to make these differences,
Also, at the point of needing that to make a decision, if that's what you're basing the decision on, if they're that close, you're probably fine with almost any of them.
Right. Exactly.
Right? Like if you're talking within a couple percentage points of each other or something, like at the end of the day, I think it just comes down to, like, let's take for example, like a 6-0 double black diamond versus carbon 1X. Those are ones that, like, you can get much more definitive, easy answers. One is high swing weight. One is low swing weight. Like the carbon's probably going to hit harder. The 6-0 is going to have faster hand speed. 6-0 has a shorter handle. It's like these big specs that make a difference. And then there's other things throughout it that are just like much smaller details that may or may not matter to you. Does it have an octagon handle? How high is the spin? It's just small things here and there. But I don't know. I just want everyone to know the goal is to be a guide. If I can be as definitive as possible, that's awesome. But at the end of the day, we're just trying to help you make a decision. And hopefully it helps you make a more informed decision than before you watched the video.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so don't hate on us.
I mean, that's going to happen regardless. There'll be haters no matter what. I've just come to accept that in the eyes of the internet, one person will always think you're an idiot.
It's true.
It's true, for sure. But I don't know. Well, you got anything else? That's pretty much it for me.
No, that's it for me too. It was a fun time. This was a good episode.
Yeah. No, this was good. Soon we have one more episode home, and then after that, you and I will be in Texas together. That'll be exciting. It'll be our first tournament together.
Right. How do you feel about that? I want to know now.
Well, I was going to ask you, what is your prediction for how we do in 4-5?
I don't know. It's going to be a crapshoot because it's also a golden qualifier, and golden qualifiers are notorious for having sandbaggers, right?
Yes. So... And I haven't looked at our bracket. I need to go check how big it was, because when we signed up, the bracket was pretty small. I think there was less than 8 people, but that was a while ago, so that could have changed.
I almost don't want to look at it. Do you look at brackets a lot before you go play?
Not a lot, but I'll pull it up just to see how big is it. Are there any names I recognize? For a while, I was like more into looking up people's duper. Like sometimes, like the U.S. Open, I looked up a couple just because I was curious. But at this point, I just don't really care. It's like you're just gonna show up and play these people. Their duper is what it is.
Right. I totally agree. Well, I think we do have I think we'll do well. I don't know if we'll.
I think we'll make it to my prediction is we make it to a medal.
Yes.
I think we can make it to a medal.
We're making it to a medal, and that medal is going to be gold. Let's go.
Hey, let's go. Okay, but how do you think? Do you think we'll stack or no?
We'll probably stack sometimes. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not a fan of stacking indefinitely the whole entire tournament. I don't like it.
Yeah?
Do you like it? Well, it's, for me, it's not as fun, and the variation, I like pickleball because of the variation, and I don't know, there are some shots that I really like doing on the right-hand side, and I really like my backhand roll and drops. You know that one shot that I always do, if it goes in the middle and sometimes it's to your forehand and you could take a speed up and they're back, but then I just come in and I take it and I do a small little slice dink. It looks like a chicken wing myself, and then it hits shallow to the to our opponent's right side, like right in the kitchen, and sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't, but I love that shot.
Do you know what you just did, Will? We finally satisfied the people. They got a video of seeing the Batman, and now people are going to be like, I have no idea what Will is describing, and they're going to need another video.
Oh, gosh.
Just more content to make, more content.
No, yeah, there's more content to make for sure. So yeah, I like the variation of both sides, but also I think that not letting your opponent see the same pattern every time is useful, at least at the level that we kind of play at, right?
Yep.
And so they don't know what to do sometimes. But also at the same time, I don't know how often or how well our opponents are dissecting our plays or our patterns or what we're doing at this level. So,
well, at a 4-5 golden qualifier, we're probably playing a bracket full of 5-0s who probably do think about those things. No, but for real, on the stacking, it makes sense. Like, Patrick and I basically treat it as we will stack when we're given reason to stack. We'll play straight up until we realize either one of us has a better matchup with the other one straight on, or maybe one of us is just playing worse and we'll stack the other one. More often than not, I think our default would be to put Patrick on the left for us. But we've had a couple times where just the matchup of people we're playing, it's better with me on the left. And then we just go that way.
Right, yeah. If the person in front of you is looking to speed up at you, because most of the times you speed up straight ahead, right down the line, and you have a pretty good reset, I would say. So it all just kind of depends on what we want to do. When people speed up on me, I typically like to counter. I know you prefer to reset, so yeah, we'll have to see. And I'll stack just to change things up sometimes, or if something's not working or we haven't scored in a while or they're on a run, I'm okay, let's give them a different look just to see what happens. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So yeah, I think we'll stack some, but don't make me play one side the whole time or the other, and I wouldn't.
Well, we can't do it only because I know your stamina can't handle that much.
What? Come on.
I'm giving away our secrets. I shouldn't tell the people about your stamina. But you know what this does make me think of?
What?
This feels to me like if you're at that point in a relationship where you're like, okay, I'm finally going to introduce my girlfriend or my boyfriend to the parents, and you're like, I don't know how this is going to go. And I feel like you and I are about to hit a new stage in this relationship where we play a tournament together, and we're about to find out if we can play together or if we're only friends not on the court.
Oh, okay. I guess we'll see.
Outside of tournaments, that is.
Outside of tournaments? Okay.
I don't think you and I would ever argue on the court. Like, first of all, I'm just not a guy to argue. Like, if you were telling me to do something, I would just go, okay, we should do that. Like, it's highly unlikely I will tell you you're wrong and get mad about it. Mm-hmm. But who knows? Maybe I miss something or do something you don't like, and suddenly your lid just blows.
I don't think that's gonna happen, but I guess vice versa, the same applies to you, right? I don't know if you'll just blow up on me because I messed up.
Well, if I ever blow my top,
yeah,
against you at a tournament, I don't even think it's Chris anymore. I have only lost my cool once, and it wasn't even at my partner. It was just because I played so badly.
Oh, this mustn't be Chris. This must be Isaac or Patrick. Must be one of your other brothers. Like, who are you? I must have been mistaken my partner. That's what it would have happened.
Basically. So I don't know. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's just going to be exciting, and also just the thought of a golden qualifier, and if we both qualified for nationals, that would be sick.
No, that'd be sick, and it's going to give us something to talk about on the pod for sure.
For sure. We'll definitely have stories. Well, thanks for tuning in this week, guys. This was a fun podcast episode, and we'll catch you next week.
All right. Peace.